How should an electrical engineer or an electrician protect his work on the deck after a conduit piping work? Thank you for that question. Wonderful people, you are especially welcome back to this channel. In today's video, I want to make reference to the first two videos we just did on conduit piping work on the deck. And remember, we just did the part 2 after doing the part 1. So if you've not watched the part 1 and the part 2, you can check the link below on the description of this particular video and watch the two videos, because today we are going to look at the part 3, electrical conduit piping on the deck. So having seen the conduit piping on the deck, we started by going back to the drawing board, checking our working drawing, firstly checking the positioning of the switches, the positioning of everything that we needed in each of the spaces in the rooms and the passage and everything, positioning our DB. Then we firstly did the first video that talked about the piping of the lighting point on the deck, after which we checked the part 2, which took us to the piping of the AC, the water heater, the cooker unit, and every other thing, including the solar piping, the conduit piping of the solar unit, the piping of the generator, and every other thing that is needed to be done on the deck. So for people who are just joining us on this particular video, I want to specially welcome you. Try and watch those parts and also watch this part so that you don't miss anything at all. If you are a new person and you like what we are doing here, kindly give us a thumbs up, share with your friends, and do well to subscribe so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. So today we are going to look at 7 important things an electrician or an electrical engineer you need to do in order to secure your conduit pipe on the deck. So these 7 things, I want you to relax, sit back, don't try to omit any parts or any one of them, because the last one is going to shock you. So we are going to check them one by one and make sure that we don't make any mistake when we are about to carry out our conduit piping work on the deck. Talking about electrical conduit work on the deck and securing them. One, to make sure that they are protected from damages, they are protected from water getting into them, and they are protected to make sure that our work is intact. In fact, to make sure that while we are carrying out other parts of the work, apart from the conduit piping, that our time is minimized. So sit back, relax. If possible, you can take your pen as you join me in this particular video, because I am not going to leave any points behind. And anytime you want to start a conduit work on the deck, firstly, after preparing your working drawing, preparing your quotation, make sure that the materials to be used on the piping of that deck work, they are quality materials and that they are reliable. Make sure they are reliable materials. Why did I say so? When you have reliable materials and your piping work on the deck has been completed, note that that work which you have done and you are about to leave the site, for people that will come and cast the deck, Now, those people that will come and cast the deck are not electricians. Remember, they are going to carry loads. And when they are carrying loads, mistakenly, one may match on the metal structure and it may affect your pipe. Now, if your pipe, for instance, are not of quality material, you are going to agree with me that your pipe may experience breakage. There may be breakages on your pipe at one point or the other. And if there are breakages, remember that the pipe, the cement water may enter through that particular hole, and that means blockage. So when you come back to fish cables, it will be very difficult for you. In fact, the blockage will cause some kind of problems for you, which may take your time. The time you would have used to fish in your cables into the pipes, you will take more time and it may cost you money. That is number one. Number two thing you need to do is to ensure that you reduce your bends. You need to reduce your bends because on the day, after casting the deck, remember, you will come back to do the fishing of the cables. And during the fishing of the cables, there will be no amendment. So you need to reduce the number of bends from each box to another box. You make sure that your bends are not too many so that it will reduce stress for you during the time when you will come back or when another electrician may come back to do the fishing of the cables. That is number two. The third thing you need to do while carrying out this conduit work on the day is to make sure you position your pipes. Make sure you position your boxes. Make sure your boxes are in position. How do you do that? Remember, from the first part of this tutorial, the part 1 of this tutorial, I made a promise that I'm going to show you how to position your boxes. You will make sure that you have your nail. I'm not talking about 6 inches nail now. I'm talking about nails, smaller nails like 2 inches nail or 1.5 inch nail. You are going to make use of the nail. You are going to make use of the binding wire. Let me show you how you do it. Assuming this is your deck, assuming here is your deck, and this is your box. This is your two-way box or your three-way box. Let's say you have a three-way box here, and your pipe is connected. This is your conduit pipe is connected here. Maybe here is open or something. Or let's say you have a four-way box. You use these three. Now, how do you protect or position your pipe and your box? Now, how to position your box? You have nail, like let's say 1.5 inch nail. You bring 2 of them. Don't use this nail and nail the middle of your box. There are some electricians that when they want to use the nail, they will use a longer nail and they will place it at the middle of this box and nail it to the board. No. Now, when you nail it at the middle of this box, during the time of wiring, you see that this nail will give you wound. It will disturb you and it will make you uncomfortable during the fishing of the pipe because you need to put your hand. Sometimes your fishing tape will come and stop here and you need to put your hand to bring out the fishing tape. Your fishing tape will not be able to run towards this end where you can easily pull it out and connect your cable. How do you do that? When you use these 2 smaller nails, you connect your binding wire. You take your binding wire, tie one end to this nail, the other end to this nail, and nail one here. When you take your nail, you use your binding wire, bind this point to this using your pliers. So when you bind it, you put one nail here, put the other nail here, nail it to the board. You see that it will hold this into position. It will hold this box into position. That is the number 3. The number 1 is to make sure that you have quality materials, both your boxes and your pipes. The number 2 is that you reduce the number of bends on your deck so that it will not increase the time you will come back to do the fishing of the cables. It will reduce the time that you would have spent to struggle in trying to navigate through the curved bends and the sharp bends. It will reduce the time. Thirdly is to place your boxes in position. Make sure your boxes are in position. Nail them to the board. Nail them to the board. It will not only be place them into position, it will help to cover them or to protect them from water getting into the boxes. So nailing them into position is of paramount importance. Then the next one, which is the fourth one, is to protect your boxes from water ingress. What I mean is that you protect your boxes from water getting into the pipe or into the boxes. How do you do that? Let me go back to the board. Now, this is your box, for instance, and you have made use of this 1, 2, 3, remaining this particular way that is open. This is a 4-way box, and you have piped this and this, or maybe you pipe only one. So these ones that are open, how do you cover them? You need to use nylon, use waterproof materials to cover them, or you can use paper. If you use paper, tear out carton, roll it. When you roll the carton, you put it here. Make sure that you cover this, such that by the time you get to this point, you must have covered this part. Then when you nail it to the board, to the deck board, you must have covered both the bottom and the open side. Take note of that. Another point, the fifth point, is you make sure that your joints are firm. Make sure you have firm connections. The joints, the connection between your boxes and your conduit pipe should be very firm. Why do you need firm connection? Remember, we are talking about the deck now, and the deck is not a place when you finish, you start taking cement to position or to do one thing or the other. Unlike the wall, when you open the wall, remember you use your cement to protect your pipe, to protect your boxes, if not all of your conduit pipe. At least you hold your boxes into position. Now, in this case, you need to make sure that you protect your pipe, protect them from water getting into them. Sometimes you may think they are well protected. When you did not use PVC gum to protect the joints, to make sure that the joints are firm, what may happen? What may happen there is that there may be a point where you have boxes, you have bends. Your bends may come to a point where you have the beams and the columns. And remember, the person casting this beam or the column may need to do some kind of pushing in. He may use wood or vibrating machine to push in the mortar or the mixture into position to make sure that these points, the beams, are solid and the metal structures are well covered with the cement and the concrete. At this point, he's going to make sure that these places are well done. The work is well done. Now, you come over there and he comes over there and discovers that your pipes are not well protected. You didn't use gum, you didn't even use PVC gum to put your joint, to connect your coupling or couplers, or to join them to each joint, maybe from one bend to another pipe. You see that at that point, you must have made a mess of all your effort at that particular point, because one, the pipe may pull, and when they pull out, the cement particles, cement water, and the concrete, all of them will enter into your pipe, and there will be blockage. Of which, by the time you come back to do the fishing of the cables, it will be difficult for you. You may not even know what to do at that point. So, what I advise you here is that you make sure that you use your PVC gum to protect your joints. Whether you are joining your conduit pipe to your conduit boxes, use your gum. Whether you are joining your PVC pipes to the couplers or the coupling, always apply your gum. At every point, at every joint that you are joining one pipe to another pipe, always use your gum to help you. It will also protect your work. The number 6 I want to point here is that after running your pipe, maybe on the same beam, on the beam, remember the beams are horizontally placed. Your structures, the metal structures are horizontal. such that it allows force yes, it carries load. It allows the load to be shared on either the floor, the floor, the deck. So when you are running your pipe, either your security pipe or your AC pipe on that beam, what do you do? How do you secure that pipeline? What you need to do to secure that pipeline is to ensure that your pipe don't sag. Avoid sagged pipe. When you see that your pipe is sagged, use your binding wire to tie your conduit pipe to the metal structure. So that when the person that will cast it, when the person that is casting that deck is doing his work, you don't bring him back. Some of them may not have time to start helping you out. Some of them are not even electricians. So by the time they push in the concrete and it spoil your work, they may not even know that your work has been spoiled. They may not even have that time to start looking into what you did. So they'll just leave it for you there. All the stress, all the suffering will be for you because you are the one that made the mistake. So that is the point. Point number 6. Make sure you tie your conduit pipe at interval. Tie them to the metal structure. And the seventh one, as an engineer, as an electrical engineer, a sub-engineer, or as an electrician, you are a professional in your work, you should be able to inspect your work. You should be able to check what you have done on that particular site. Let me tell you why. If you fail to check or inspect what you have done on that day, what you will experience is that you may come back. By the time the deck must have been cast, you come back to notice that you may have omitted one switch or another. You may have omitted the AC or one thing or the other. So you need to inspect your work. You need to check what you have done, carry your working drawing, take your electrical floor plan, make sure all the things stated in the working drawing or your electrical floor plan are well installed. Check your piping, check your circuit, correct any mistake, check if there are omissions, so that there will be no omission. Anything you fail to correct on the day will still remain for you. And by the time you come back, you discover that the mistake is still waiting for you. And that is a lot of work for you. So I want to end this video at this point. If you have learned something new and you like what we are doing here, I want you to give us a thumbs up. Share with other people. There are people out there that need to see some of these things and take correction. If some of them are beginners, they will need to learn. So if you like what we are doing, don't forget to share. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so that when next we post our upcoming video, you will not be left out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time, and remain blessed.